Okay, good evening everyone. So welcome back to our program. So today we will see about Python GUI development. It's like not web UI development, but it's like a desktop UI development using Tkinter. Tkinter we have already seen the basic demo, but today we will see what are the widgets and what are the layout managers. We will go one by one. So generally the first thing we will discuss about eight uh, widgets today. Like first of all, we will discuss about label. Label is nothing but whenever an UI is there. For example, if I take this, so if you see this icon and under the icon we have taken media, stock media, audio, titles, everything is there. So to display like this of uh, labels, for that we will be using the label widget, which is already defined. So So these are the official documentation if you see. So for example, this is entry. uh, So this is for entry. If we go back to documentation and if we search for commands and then okay, okay, TK commands and the label. So if you see here, these are the having standard options. So what exactly like a background color, foreground color, and there will be widget specific options as well. Widget specific options are nothing but how to adjust how much height, how much width the widget should be there. Uh, so all this we have already bindings and examples. So let's go to demo. So generally, uh, what we used to do is like import tkinter as tk. So instead of that, if we have imported like this from tkinter module, we are importing everything like every class and every method we are importing by giving star. Generally, this is not preferable when coding in large applications, but as of now, for a demo purpose, we are just using this notation. So first of all, we will be creating a window. Let's So window is nothing but the whatever we need to display on that. So for example, this is the window, Filmora window. So similarly, we will be creating a window. For that window, what we will doing, we will be creating a window object using tkinter class. So tk class. So we are creating window object and then we are giving this examples like our what is our window should display like this Wondershare Filmora. So exactly it will display the widget example and how much width it is. So if you don't give this, it will be very minimal. So just let's see how it goes. So now label equal to label. Generally, if we import take interest tk, then we will be using this tk dot this notation because we are importing directly from Tkinter all the classes, so you don't need to use Tkinter dot or tk dot. Directly we can use the class names. So label class, and here we are giving text. This is old text, and we are actually configuring the text. This is new text, and then actually this is the package manager. So generally, if you don't give the package manager, what happens? Let's see. So generally for one widget, it don't do anything, but Okay. So it got run, but we haven't seen any window opened, right? Why? Because to run in infinite loop, so to to see our window is open until unless we click on exit, this is the one thing we should calling the main loop function. So it is like infinite loop. So until unless user clicks the exit button, the window will stay awake. So similarly, let's call again. So here, if you see, our label should display, but we can't see the label where it is. So when I expand, so it is displayed somewhere. I'm not sure where it is displaying. So if because of that pack method, pack what it does, it automatically display it whatever we given. It automatically do the I want to say keeping the widgets in a proper order. So for basic examples, so now if you see, because we haven't given the screen size, this is like now we got this is new text, and if we get widget examples, and the window is Tkinter window is running on the infinite up until unless we close this, it will be opened. So to define that, we will be defining the window min size. So we will be calling the method min size method, and we'll be displaying width and height uh, notation. So it is similar kind of stuff what uh, we have used in turtle graphics. So the methods are different. Just if you carefully observe, we are just calling the object, creating object, and then we are calling the methods on that object. So now if I call again, so now my text is displaying, and my the width I have given is exactly 500 by 500 pixels. The square is displaying. So these are the common properties. Common properties nothing but again this standard properties. So for check them, so you can go to this tk commands label. So there are multiple things like colors, everything we will see later. But let's see how today how we will be doing the it. So next one is like buttons. So button is again the similar kind of stuff. When we click the button, it should open something like, for example, uh, this is the type of button one, and I click this one. So when I click this will happen. So similar kind of stuff. So this is like button. So similarly, to define that kind of stuff, again in Tkinter we have already provided methods like classes, we can say. So now I am just uncommenting this. So now what we are defining a button object, and button we are giving the button object like text equal to click me, and command is the action. Action is nothing but whenever we click the button, it will call this function. So what the function is like, we are just printing do something. So when I save this, so the command, so this is very important. So when we are developing major applications, uh, the only one function will define all the, whenever we click the button, that will trigger the function what we define inside that function will do all the actions needed for us. So again we are packing this. So if I don't pack again now, it will create somewhere else. I'm not sure whether we can see it on our window or not, but if we pack it, so yeah, I don't see any button here like click me. So it may go out of the control also, like exit the canvas. So when I click the pack button, it will come right after the label. So now if I just when I click, when I press on this click me, so you see do something. So it is calling the function and then it is printing the do something. So similarly when I click, how many times I click, it will call the function that many times. So just I'm closing this. So this is one of the important concepts. So we can give the command which action to call when, similar kind of stuff. So these are the purpose creations. So now we will go to entry. Entry is nothing but when it's like username and password kind of stuff, and there will be text box to enter it, right? Similar kind of stuff. So when we just I'm commenting this again. So now the same thing, we are creating an entry object using entry class. We are defining how much the width will be. So for example, this 30, let me give 50. So now this is like we need to insert some text. So it's like whenever we our loop runs, whatever it will be starting with this notation, and then whenever we clear the text and we give that. So here we are actually printing that entry.get is the method to get whatever we are entering inside this entry object. So it is like the get is the method we are calling on the object we created with the entry class, and we are again packing. If we don't pack, we never know where it will be created. So again, when I run the same thing, just clear the screen. So now if we see here, so we have given entry box with the text sum to begin with. So it is printing the same thing. Now if I remove that I unclick, so now it is not doing so. So we need to combine this entry method to get it displayed. So at the first step itself, we are actually entering. So whatever the string it is taking, we are actually getting that. So but if to store it in entry label, we need to define a variable and then we need to store it. So going forward, we will be checking that how to access that. So we need to when we click that, we can get. So let me do this. So here, what I am doing, I am just calling whatever I entered when I click the action button. Whatever I entered, it should print on the console. So I'm just running again. So as of now, the first it is like it is saying now I hello. Now when I click this, so it is doing the first thing, do something, and it is actually calling whatever I am giving. It is printing. So now again, hello world. So when I click again, so the same thing, whatever. So we can access this type of like username, password, other text boxes, this kind of stuff. So the pack is actually doing the layout for us. So it is actually doing it in the center one by one. if we don't pack the widgets, it might be created on the canvas what we created or not. So that's why we will be using the package managers like in the desktop UI development. So similarly, if you want to add multi-line comments, like multi-line, you want to enter a paragraph, so then you can't use, and then you can't use entry. So it is just for example, the username, password kind of stuff we need to. But you want to do an entry of multi-lines, so we need to use a text box. Like we need to create a object using the text class. So it's like we are giving height and width. So it's like when we keep the our cursor, when we keep to go to that, our cursor should display, and we are actually entering this one. So again, we are calling the function like uh, the line, whatever the line we are giving. So we are calling the get method for this text object as well, and then we are packing it. So now when I do, so now this is the example. As of now, we are not doing anything. Like we are not printing when we click this, so there won't be anything. Uh, so to do something to print on the console, we need to again give this get method again at here. Then hi, hello, how are you? Let's see how. So now whatever I have given, it is printing all the lines like hi, hello, how are you? So again, if you carefully observe, it is actually the package our layout manager is doing one by one all the widgets under. So the same thing we have defined here, like what like entry text box, entry box, and then now goes to spin box. So spin box is nothing but again it's kind of I meant to say button, but yeah, it's like we have some range to select. So let's see how it actually looks like. So this one. So we are giving from 0 to 10. So whatever the range we are selecting, it will be displayed here. So again, this is like we are creating a spin box object using spin box class, and then from which where to where it should start, and we are giving how much width it is, and we are using the command again. Uh, which command? The command whenever we select that spin box, what is the function will be called. So it is like just we are printing whatever the selection in the spin box we are displaying. So that's how we are getting whenever we select anything like now just I am selecting 1 2, now it is displaying 1 2. Similarly now scale is like the horizontal like vertical bars, I think we have already seen. So this is like scale going up and down. So similar kind of stuff to code in this thing. So again we are doing command scale used. So just we are creating the value and we are creating scale object using scale class. So how from where to where the scale should be, like we have created 500 by 500 pixels, so we are giving 0 to 100 the scale value. Now if I run, where is my command? Now again Python. Now if you see, so here actually we are displaying this one, like meant to say. So it can be vertical scale and it can be a horizontal scale also. So we can have orientation kind of stuff. So here orient generally by default it will be uh, vertical. So if you want to change it to horizontal, now it has changed it to horizontal. So again we are doing the back. Now we will go to check button. Check button is again like multiple checks will be having, right? So whether if user selected that variable it is on or off, so similar kind of stuff. So again what we are doing, we are just checking what is the value of that. So here we are actually defining the variable, integer variable. So in Tkinter this is like integer variable to define, integer variable class I meant to say. So class we are defining that object, checked state object. So similarly, so now because this integer variable class will be taking only zeros and ones, like when we check the checkbox it will be 1, when we uncheck it will be 0. So again we are creating a check button object using check button class, and then we are giving the parameters like text, so it can be anything, is on or is off, like if I give checkbox it will display the same thing. So just we are checking what is the variable check state. So it will be either 1 or 0. So that's why we will be giving this and the command check button used. So now again, so now it's checkbox. So as if I check, now it will call that function. So just if you carefully observe, now it displays 1 when I check the checkbox. When I uncheck the checkbox, it is displaying 0. So only two states will be there for the checkbox. Either it will be selected or it will be unselected. So now similar kind of stuff. I think we already seen radio buttons. Radio buttons, it's like either we need to select either one of them. So if we have two radio buttons, so here we will be using the same state, and the value is like when we select first radio button, it will display this value. Otherwise, it will display the same value. So again, we are using the integer variable class to define radio state, and we are actually defining values 1 and 2 because there can be multiple uh, things also, right? So now we are actually packing them. Now let's see. So it's like when I check this option, it's checking when I check this option. We can't select both, but in checkbox, if there are multiple checkboxes, we can select multiple checkboxes. But here, only one of the option will be selected. Right option. So the last item is like list box. So now what exactly list box is like? We are defining a list box class. So now we are defining a multiple like apple, orange. So here the one thing differs is generally we are just inserting all the in a for loop we are inserting all the items like index.item. So in the index for item in fruits insert. So it's like in the list box it's like 0, 1, 2, 3. Right. So for each index we are inserting one element. Like the first index it will be apple, the second index it will be pear. So we are using only four because we are having only four options. And here if you carefully observe, we are using the instead of command, we are using bind. And here we are using the method like list box select parameter. So and we are calling list box used. So it's like we are just using get method and we are actually getting the current selection. So in the list box, it can be multiple selections also, but as of now, we will be defining only a single selection list box. So now, when I run again, so if you see here, we have four already displaying. Now, if I click on apple, it is going apple, pear, orange, banana, orange. So whenever whatever I am selecting, it is changing. We can't select more than one. So it's like, for example, like drop down kind of stuff in a list box. But it's generally to display all at a time. So generally we use that instead of using drop downs. I missed this. So the same thing. What are the creation? How we need? How we will be creating the stuff we have given. All this about widgets. So the pack here for everything we have used pack. So what exactly the layout managers are? So built-in layout manager. So we don't need to actually worry about our way to keep our widgets and at what there will be multiple built-in layout managers. So for example, if you take pack, it is a very simplicity. So it is all for the easiest layout manager to use. So if we are the first time users of Tkinter. So if you say horizontally, vertically within the available space. So either if we can specify something like if we want the widget to be very left or right or top or bottom, it will do that. So but it will be having very limited control and it's like dynamical resizing. Yeah. So it's like in pack what exactly what uh, if we open. So the layout might change if it depends on if we because we haven't defined anything like left or right, but if we define something like left and right, depending on our scale, window scale, then it might be difficult. So similarly, the next thing is like a grid. Grid is like again the column rows type of stuff. So if you like a matrix, rows and columns, so we can specify here at this row keep this, at this column position keep this. So it's like, let's see how the grid method works. So for example, again here we are defining all this. So now here what we are doing, we are actually my label dot grid. So instead of back we are defining grid, and we are saying to keep it at 0 comma 0, and then we are defining another button. So similarly, instead of back we are saying it keep it at row 1 column 1, and new button. So whenever we click this button dot click, so it will be called the print I got click, and input dot whatever we have given it will be created, and the label text will be changed. So Python. So it's like if you carefully observe, all these two are at one, I meant to say, same positions. Like the row is 0, but so the new button and the label is at in the same row, but it is at column 0 and it is at column 1. Again, the similar click me is at row. If you see the click me button, it is at column 1 and row 1. And again the entry widget, so input widget, so where it will be, it is at column 3. So for example, this is 1 1. So this is 0 0, and then this is new column is 0 comma 2. So it's like I'm saying row comma columns. So similarly we have defined this is at between like row 1 column 1, so 0 0 1 2, and then this is at 3. So if we carefully observe and if you just draw a line, so you can just carefully check after this up to this column only this will be created. So it has a specific kind of stuff. So and we can actually give the paddings also. So now how much like we are getting this, I mean to say, button like of effect, right? So similar kind, that's the padding what we are giving, like, and like and it can be uh, width of the button also, width and height of the button. So this is new text, but when I click high and when I click, it will change back to high. So now hello, because the function what we are saying to function is uh, get that in text from the input dot get input. So this variable, actually we should not use this input as a variable because this is already defined keyword. So for example, input entry. So now the same thing, it is working fine. Just I have changed uh, the object name. Hello, how are you? So it is dynamically changing. So because we are changing the my label config to whatever we are inputting, we are giving that text as new text. So if you carefully observe, this is the main loop as well. So it's like again control widget elements using options like sticky and pad x pad y alignment options. So and this is like the place, the absolute control. As of now, we haven't checked on this. So it's good to know, but generally maximum of the time we use grid and pack only. But it is like we need to identify what exactly at which pixels, like pixel perfect positioning. For this, we will be using this method, place method. Uh, so it's like when we resizing, right? It don't do automatic scaling when we do a placing because we are actually doing pixel perfect positioning. So generally, we don't use this place method. This place layout manager, you can say. And so yeah. So how to choose the right layout manager and what are the tips we can. So here are the tips. So for simple linear, for structured and complex layouts, general maximum of the time we use grid only, and place is like a very few times we will be using. So we should not mix the managers like for one pack. If you are using pack, you should use pack only. If you are using grid, you should be using grid only. If you are using place, we should be using place only. So going forward, what are the frames and how we can divide that and how we can organize? We will be see. So, to develop, for example, this is one frame, for example, and this is one frame, two frames, three frames, four frames. In this UI, in Filmora, there are four frames, maybe four windows, you can say. So similar kind of stuff we can do in Tkinter also. So those are called frames. We going forward we will be learning on that, and we have to do like how to achieve. I mean to say how to be perfect and how to develop nice UAs. We need to do experimentation and lot of experimentations on this. You can go to many other projects or offline online projects. You can check what are this and you can implement. I think that's it for today. What we will be discussing.